I looked at the stat card of this plane and thought it was going to be really good. And then these were literally my first freaking shots with the plane. If you're anything like me, you probably saw this patch and said, there's really not anything good in this patch. Well, never fear, this little hidden gem is here, the MB326K. Honestly, I didn't even know about it. I didn't keep up with this patch too much, and I read the stat card for this and saw, battle rating 7.0, 54 meters a second climb rate, max speed 896. 21 second turn time. You know, you can't go by the stat card for everything. But that sounds like a pretty good fighter, especially for 7.0. That sounds like it's faster than most things at 7.0. And there's one more special thing about it. It gets defas. And you might think to yourself, defas are kind of, whatever. But defas in this situation, where the planes are going much slower, they actually feel really high velocity. And I don't know if this has got some main character energy, but these things actually just delete planes out of the sky. I mean, they are 30 mils, but holy cow. And if you really, really, really want to get nasty, you have the option of the 30 mil Defa gun pods. I don't really feel that there's a big need for these, mainly because it only takes a few hits of these guys, and why not be the most dangerous plane you could possibly be, especially if you can knock 2, 3, 4 people out of the sky with this. So, anyways, I got some gameplay for you guys today. I think you're going to enjoy this plane, so let's go check it out in-game. Now, I figured I'd try out the little live commentary thing. But you'll notice that we actually get strike aircraft spawn, which is like kind of a big deal too. I've noticed that this thing does climb a lot better than a lot of the other jet engines when you first start off. But yeah, big advantage. And as you can see here, we're jumping on top of a Meteor. And Meteor F is actually a pretty reasonably dangerous aircraft, and so it's a good example of what we can do here. I notice he's coming up at me, and I have plenty of energy and plenty of altitude to kind of do what I need to do, and I'm just gonna try to energy trap him here. Very classic energy trap, a little risky, but that's a tough shot right there. And this plane is actually kind of small, and you notice we're still holding on to a decent bit of speed here, and we're testing out the flaps. The flaps are a little bit interesting because they only kind of work when you're slow, but you can definitely tap them a little bit. So I haven't really pushed the limits of this aircraft too much to see what it does, but our friendly IL-28 taking one to the dome right there. Squirting those defas out, trying to see what I can make out of it, and then missing awfully. This is real, but you see it only took one of them, and I kind of suck with bottom-mounted guns, but just one round is all it took. And then we are picking off a little A29 here. The A29 is kind of slow, but once again, we find ourselves catching people quite often, and we're getting chased. The one good thing about this plane is we can confidently keep everybody at a distance, or at least for long enough to do what we got to do. And we're watching this MiG-9 chasing me. The A29 is dying. The MiG-9 is still chasing me, and the unthinkable happens. You can't even be mad. That was a pretty good shot. That was some good range. He's gonna go, and that might be a YouTube short. But nobody's ever patient, and we waited. Gimped as hell on our maneuverability, but we waited very patiently for this. One shot, all it takes, and once we get slower, we get our maneuverability back and spray out of desperation. And two, just like that. So once again, even in the struggle bus, this thing is fast enough to kind of maintain its fight. And this is actually my second match. I was pretty excited to see what else I could do at this point. And to prove I'm not cherry picking all my footage, this is still the same match. We had already landed, we had come back, and for the first time in my entire life, I see a high energy ME262, and this shows how dangerous that they can actually be if you manage your energy. Everybody's always so slow in them, and that's the worst way to be. Trying out the roll there, I noticed it's easy to over-roll this thing, so lesson learned there, and then he just snags the shots. He's got the high velocity German 30s, so he wasn't there to play around. And we got put in our place a little bit. So in this round, we waited just a little bit longer to engage everybody. We kind of went past and went over their team and found kind of a good advantageous position over everybody. Now we got a few Meteors and an LA-200 that I definitely don't want to have to deal with. But, Meteor Fs are kind of everywhere, and we're just gonna try to deal with them. And then just, of course, me struggling just a little bit with the defas. But you can see that we immediately destroy him. Now, A29 wants a little bit of smoke, but we're not gonna worry about him too much, as we still have a little bit of energy, and we're kind of keeping everybody at just a little bit of a distance, and just kind of keeping a little cash in the bank in case we want to spend it. We're looking at this SU-9 when something kind of funky happens. I wasn't paying attention to my audio too much. The AI, it always messes me up. The AI always messes me up. But here we go. Meteor F setting the ambush on me. A little bit of panic here, and I'm just trying to stay off of his nose. Now, he thought he was going to do this to me. And fortunately, I was going slower. He was going faster, and he missed to my advantage here. And we're not, we're not big on letting him get away with that kind of stuff. So we're going to feed him a few of those. Meteor F is gone. We're feeling pretty good about ourselves, and the SU-9 is still chasing us. Of course, I stopped to make sure I got that recording. A little bit of smoke, let him know to, bite me and come here and try to chase me down. The SU-9 is not much of a match. I will say the SU-9s are a little bit better than people lead on. I think most SU-9 pilots kind of suck, but he's throwing rounds at me, and we're diving away just to keep our speed up, give him a hard time, and nose counter him. Not too worried about him, but we're just going to stay off of his nose here. And I just wanted to leave this in to show you guys that this plane definitely has no problem dealing with, things like SU-9s, things like Meteors, things like, whatever. It really feels like an air superiority fighter in its own right. Now, we did end up getting chased around for a little bit and then chasing some other people for a little bit and taking a few swings, but nothing substantial. We ended up making it pretty far into the round. We're pretty light on fuel, and there's a lot of fuel in this plane, I find, for each battle. And the Meteor F, the final boss, pops up because the other guy's in a bomber. Dodging his first shots, that's the main thing, and then just getting inside of his turn circle here is my other main thing. Because the good news about this plane is it does have a decent bit of thrust to power itself out. Now we got him out in front of us, and we still have plenty of energy here, so it's all about when I can get shots. And you see that the Meteor F was really, once again, no match for my little plane here, and of course you're going to watch me struggle with the defas as per usual, but it only takes one. It only takes one, just enough to throw his flight model off a little bit and send him into the dirt. Now, I left this one in because, who doesn't love draining the life out of a poor, helpless, defenseless B-29? F2H Escort wasn't doing him much good here because we jinked his shots, and there's not enough space for him to come back around and even remotely try to save his B-29 buddy. Now, this is where the Aidens are great. We don't really have to sit on this target for too long. We can spray from a distance and get rid of that B-29 because, we like free kills. We like free kills, and we're just grinding, Now, the F2H is going to continue to kind of give us a little bit of a hard time and run, and I think most of you that have experienced F2Hs will realize that they are pretty fast. They're pretty fast at this tier, and they're even a 0.3 BR higher. And I wanted to show you guys that we might not be quite as fast as an F2H in a dive, but look at him. He's hardly getting away, and he's diving and getting rid of energy, so all I have to do is level out. So I end up chasing him for just a little bit here, and then eventually, of course, we finally caught up to him. As per usual, I'm going to struggle to hit him with these bottom guns, and he is pulling pretty hard, staying off my nose, but I do know that he is cashing out now, and he's putting the ball in my court. You don't want to be slow with this plane because we've already learned that it's a really decent turn fighter. And once again, it takes one, after a few, and that 262 is completely spraying rockets, and they're blowing up all around me, which is pretty insane. But yeah, once again, that was the last guy in that battle, and for our last gameplay, it gets a little hectic. So sparing you the nice little climb and getting over to the battle, we got an F3D who really just wanted to, well, he cashed out on a little bit of greed, and it didn't work so much in his favor. It worked for a second because struggling with the bottom guns per usual, but we're swinging around F3D and miss again. And we're gonna pull up and wait for it. We got him. Hit with like all the rounds that time, and of course taking him out, just completely destroying his plane. Counts as kill, I guess we'll take it. SU-9 F-89B. F-89B could be kind of dangerous, so we're gonna give him a little squirt, hopefully, to make him turn off, because we don't want to play that game, and I don't know, he didn't have good control over his plane there. Anyway, I saw somebody else was lining up for me, so I thought maybe a good idea to pull down, just in case he was going to get any shots on me, and then we're going to reset and get our bearings. And it's not long before the SU-9 caught up, and then he was ready to party with me, so we're going to tap our flaps a little bit here, come around, and take advantage of our superior airframe at higher speeds and just not kind of nose counter. We're just looking to get him in front of us and just squeeze him out in front of us. Once he's out in front of us, we're pretty safe, and we have the option to be able to pull shots as long as we can hit him. That would have been sick. That felt good. That would have been sick, but, didn't want to give him to me. And then a little bit of ADHD, checking on everybody else, making sure there's not a more opportune target. SU-9 pulling out in front of me, doing the worst thing you could do is going vertical, and we won't talk about that. Honestly, if I could hit more of my shots, this plane would be absolutely insane. Looking around, more shots, another ambush. I get the hit on that guy. That should have been a kill. I'm sorry, that should have been a kill. That would have easily been a YouTube short. And you know, we're just gonna wait for the reset again. And of course, just like any point when you think your enemy that's attacking you has half a brain, you catch him already mowing the lawn, and I'm just gonna capitalize on my advantage that he gave me over him. F2H right here in front of me. He's not getting away this time. One shot, his engine's out, and then the SU-9. We're gonna finish these guys up, clean them up. 22 rounds, 8 rounds, and empty cannon. I'm so glad I hit those. There's another little 3-piece. I think that this plane definitely has ace games in it. It definitely has multi-kill games in it. It is really, really good. I really enjoy the MB326K, and I was not expecting this plane at all. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this plane. Are you going to unlock it? Do you even care about it? And let me know what you think about this format. This is a little different for me. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Fly safe.
Came in and you're looking like a sign of grace. I know, but I can never match your name or face. My fault, I didn't notice it was out of place. You